Well, if you say so, sure. But let's talk now that you are much warmer to me.
Something on your mind?
I have some questions.
Of course.
I'm just trying to read the third question like in my head. What does it mean? What what changes about you after the joining? Well, what kind of changes, I guess?
You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden?
I mean physically.
You know, I asked Duncan this too, and all I got was, "You'll see."
Yeah, this seems rather cruel of him.
Oh, it's not that Duncan wants to keep it a secret, it's just that the Grey Wardens don't discuss it much. I gather it's not a pleasant topic. The first change I noticed was an increase in appetite. I used to get up in the middle of the night and raid the castle larder. I thought I was starving. I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last, and my face all covered in gravy. When I'd look up, the other Grey Wardens would stare, then laugh themselves to tears.
Well, I haven't felt anything like that.
Really? Because I was watching you wolf down food the other day, and I thought, ooh, it's a good thing she gets a lot of exercise.
Really? What can I say? I'm a growing girl.
I'll say. I didn't mean it like that. No, don't hit me. I bruise easily. Oh, and then there were the nightmares. Duncan said it was part of how we sense the Darkspawn. We tap into their, well, I don't know what you call it, their group mind. And when we sleep, it's even worse. You learn to block it out after a while, but at first it's hard. It's supposed to be worse for those who join during a blight. How is it for you?
Well, I know what you mean.
Some people never have much trouble, but that's rare. Others have trouble sleeping their entire life. They're just more sensitive, I suppose. Everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain age, the real nightmares come. That's how a Grey Warden knows his time has come.
His time has come?
Oh, that's right. We never had time to tell you that part, did we? Well, in addition to all the other wonderful things about being a Grey Warden, you don't need to worry about dying from old age. You've got 30 years to live, give or take.
Oh, what?
It's a death sentence. Ultimately, your body won't be able to take it. When the time comes, most Grey Wardens go to Orzammar and die in battle rather than waiting. It's tradition.
Oh, 30 years? Oh, really? That's cheery.
And you wondered why we kept joining a secret from the new recruits. There you have it.
Wait. I'm just having these blinks in mind like I had this conversation before, didn't I? Seriously. Yeah, remember this line? I feel betrayed. This is wrong.
You think if we asked for volunteers that Grey Wardens would exist? Maybe a few. You wouldn't be.
Yeah, I remember that.
He started having none. I guess
Yeah.
he got what he wanted. I just wish it had been something worthy of him.
Don't worry, Alistair. He will be remembered.
I know. Ending the blight should make this all worthwhile, right?
Yeah, Alistair. I'm sorry, but I think I had this dialogue before. Well, at least I got you some little presents, if I can say it that way. But you still like me. Okay, let me just sell you this quartz really quickly.
You and your friends are formidable. I'm sure.
Yeah. Just... no. Take it. Yeah, Alistair, thank you for this dialogue once again, though we had it before. Stan, do we have something else? This stupid phrasing. Have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Still finding Ferelden very strange, I suppose?
To put it lightly, no one has a place here. Your farmers wish to be very well. Speak, then.
That's enough?
Then I suggest we move on.
Sure.
As you wish.
Alright, Stan. Well, I know you are not extremely talkative, but... Sure. Okay. Shale, Morrigan, Zevran. Morrigan, what do you think about all that?
I await your command.
I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
Never mind. And something personal... Well, we're not close enough to discuss something personal. Yeah, running out of topics to speak with everyone. I know, you still sighing. I have some questions.
It doesn't have better things to do.
Did you really watch this village day and night for years?
I do not sleep, so yes. And I thank it for reminding me. Try to imagine, if it will, what it would be like to be surrounded by nothing but boring peasants, all oblivious to it.
I'm sure it was more interesting than that.
Oh, yes. It certainly was the height of intrigue to listen to the accounts of how young Dornan had scandalized the village by his purchase of an Orlesian hat. And the argument that those two muddy farmers had over the price of barley for a whole summer. Riveting. And then there were the birds. A whole village full of pigeons and ravens and sparrows all perching on me day in and day out.
Yes, your birds thing.
It is not a thing. It is a perfectly reasonable reaction to being constantly pestered. I was helpless to react. Those foolish villagers would spread birdseed near me, drawing the birds, because they thought having birds perch on me was quaint. Quaint! If there hadn't been the occasional kind soul to scour me clean, I don't care to discuss this anymore.
Sorry, Shell, but yeah, the pigeon thingy of yours. I know. Zevran, care to take to talk about more of your adventures?
Say you.
Care to answer some questions? Maybe more about your adventures. I am positive that you had more than a single one.
Again? Well now, what might interest you, I wonder? Shall I describe the stages involved with Lanthrax poisoning? I watched a man go through all 7 once.
Lanthrax poisoning? Well, if you like.
No, I'll not inflict that upon you just yet. Let's see, how about the largest battle I ever took part in? That would have been the slaughter of Prince Azrin. Did you hear of that down in these parts?
I doubt that, to be honest. Prince Azrin. This is the first time I actually hear this name.
Prince Azrin was 4th in line to the throne, you see. He started off as 11th, but worked his way up the old-fashioned method by inheriting control of an entire crow cell from his grandfather. After assassinating his way through the royal family, the king hired 3 other cells to take down Prince Azrin once and for all. I was in one of those cells.
So, I take it was a really big deal?
Antivan royalty is very much bound up in the crows. You wouldn't want it run by a bunch of commoners, after all, would you? And this means they get involved in politics quite often. This particular fight nearly bankrupted the nation, I understand. It almost ended up putting a crow on the throne, a commoner. But that's a whole different story. I played a very small part.
So what did you do?
My part in the entire battle was taken up trying to reach Princess Verina, who had thrown in with her brother. I killed about 11 of her guards personally before I got knocked out of a window. I landed in a river and nearly drowned. I was fished out by some urchins who robbed me blind. Made off with my boots, too. At least they didn't cut my throat. And that was my part in history.
Yeah, being robbed by urchins, not very glorious if you ask me.
Nothing about this work is glorious. Quite the opposite. If I indulge in a little vice and have sex with whatever I fancy, it's mainly to make things more interesting. But there you go. Tale told. Let's be off before I tell more embarrassing stories, huh?
Well, yeah, being robbed by urchins, to me it would be at least embarrassing. And Liliana, my love.
Well, aren't you sweet and attentive?
We need to talk.
Of course.
I wonder if we may speak about us.
Wait, you want to talk about us? Is there something bothering you?
You know, you are the best thing that ever happened to me.
Really? You think so? You're so sweet.
Ah, I know. Well, I did not expect that to come in part, but you know, still makes me feel much better just talking about such thing. Alright, so now Galdana lives in Denerim near the Alien Age. Problem is, like, I have no idea where is this, and like, what should I do now? If I just wonder if I should go directly into the search of these ashes or something. Or we can try and get this Grey Warden's keep. Like, right now I am really curious about this Wardens, plus you know, I will get this chest, which I think should have been from the beginning in my party camp.
You considered my offer? Soldier's Peak has been abandoned too long, if you ask me.
Let's go to the Soldier's Peak.
1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Alright. Okay guys, I made up my mind. I will search this urn for later. Right now I will get this Warden's keep in my possession. Well, that's at least how I consider things. But first thing Let's see. Less armor, but more dexterity. Well, I might agree that it looks a little bit fancy, like in terms of, you know, say, not being the exactly part of the armor, but I think that'll do for now. So just to free up my space, you can have my this armor back. Here we go. Alright, I think I am ready to try this out. And for that, you are gonna be my tanker. Well, you are without a questions, and you are without a questions, cause if it is the dungeon, so expect traps. Simple as that, right? Oh, and it's quite close, right here. So, what are we waiting for? Soldier's Peak awaits! Oh, wait. What? Why am I going the long way?
And here we are. Soldier's Peak. Maker's breath. Look at the size of her. What a fortress. I told you the map would get us through the tunnels.
Well, this is impressive, that's for certain.
It's just teeming with history. Can't you feel it? So, I'll follow you about, from a distance. This place has the stench of death. I expect there's trouble up ahead.
Some people call this place the Lost Peak. Before King Merrick's decree, the last Grey Wardens of Ferelden lived here. I just got chills.
I see. And before I go... So if I feel I cannot cope with this right now, I can return anytime. But it really gives me a little chills, you know, to realize that, you know, we all, well, except for Stan probably, got this, well, summer clothes, let us put this way, and we are not dressed properly for such weather.
Fall back! Fall back already!
Taking the peak will not be easy, my lord.
I gave the Wardens one chance to die with honor. Instead, they hole up like cowards. We follow the King's advice then. Starve them out.
But the peak has months of supplies.
Then we wait. When they are too weak to lift their weapons, we will send them to their final judgment.
What was that? Felt a bit woozy there. I'm not mad, am I? You saw it too?
I've heard an Orlesian ballad about something like this. A beauty trapped in a dream. In the song, Belisa never wakes up.
Your prissy friend here is making me nervous, Warden. How's this even possible? The place must truly be haunted.
Well, what can I say? The world is full of mysteries.
Yes, Warden.
Okay, and I am not expecting this to be like in Arkland skeleton. Well, I think I might have just a thing to warm you up.
and change the